Sometimes we are presented with a monster that has really no good description, and we're left to our own devices to determine its details. GameMasters here, and today we're going to talk Sword Wraiths found in Critical Role Call of the Netherdeep. Really, all we are given for a description is that when battle-loving, gotta-be-the-best-around glory warriors die in combat without honor, they might return and haunt the site as Sword Wraiths. And that's it. We are given that there are two possible types. Sword Wraith commanders, these guys are going to haunt the battlefield and will attack really anyone who challenges their valor, but will look kindly upon those who offer them praise. And Sword Wraith warrior. This type is usually found at an ancient battlefield where soldiers were funneled into a kind of constricted space, were shown no mercy, and were struck down. Before we hit the stat block, I'd love to ask that if you're enjoying this video, hit that like button. It really helps me to get these videos out in front of more eyes, and I thank you for that. The Sword Wraith Warrior is typically lawful evil, has an armor class of 16, a movement speed of 30 feet, and 68 plus 18 hit points, and is considered undead. It has a strength of 18, a dexterity of 12, a constitution of 17, an intelligence of 6, wisdom is 9, and charisma is 10. It has the following damage resistances: necrotic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons, and it has a damage immunity from poison. The Sword Wraith Warrior also has the following conditional immunities: exhaustion, frightened, poisoned, unconscious, and it has a challenge rating of 3. It has unusual nature, meaning it does not require air, food, drink, or sleep. For actions, this shows that it has a battle axe for a melee weapon and a longbow, but you could probably easily swap those weapons out should you want, because, well, what if that warrior, when it was alive, used a sword? Because, you know, it's called a sword wraith, not a battle axe wraith. Or maybe it used a mace or even a trident. As a bonus action, the Sword Wraith Warrior can use Martial Fury. Again, I maintain that it could be applied to any weapon that it might have had in life. And though the wording here is a little confusing, Martial Fury used to read, as a bonus action, the Sword Wraith can make one weapon attack. If it does so, attack rolls against it have advantage until the start of its next turn. This was really kind of meant to provide the Sword Wraith with a trait that gave them an extra attack at the risk of others having advantage on incoming attacks. I just think the wording here isn't exactly that clear. Moving over to the Sword Wraith Commander, it too is typically lawful evil, has an armor class of 18 and 15d8 plus 60 hit points. It has a strength of 18, dexterity of 14, constitution of 18, intelligence is 11, wisdom is 12, and charisma is 14. It has the same damage resistance and immunities as the warrior version, and it has a challenge rating of 8. This guy is significantly more advanced than its counterpart and has an ability called Turning Defiance. The commander and any sword wraiths within 30 feet of it have advantage on saving throws against effects that turn undead, and like the other, it does not need to breathe, eat, sleep, or drink. In a similar fashion to the warrior, the stat block describes that it has a longsword and a longbow, but again, I maintain that it could probably use any weapon that it had when it was still alive. It can call to honor once a day, and if it takes damage during combat, it can give itself advantage on attack rolls until the end of its next turn. Plus, 1d4 plus 1 Sword Wraith Warriors appear and fight alongside the commander. As the warrior, the commander also has the bonus action of Martial Fury, with the exception that it also does 2d8 necrotic damage when it hits. This particular monster really does open up the possibilities of customizing it. As we mentioned in regards to weapons, even though the stat blocks here talk about specific weapons, I really don't see why you couldn't swap these out for something else. Further, while these guys are undead, we do know that other forms of undead also have residual benefits from their racial bonuses. Plus, take a look at this guy. Knowing that this version resides in Call of the Netherdeep's Exandra, look at that red kind of throughout his core body. That's got to be from ruidium corruption, right? Now, we're covering more elements of Call of the Netherdeep in this playlist here, so be sure to check that out, and I'll be adding more videos in the upcoming days. But what type of corruption do you think these guys would have? What corruption benefit and detriment would you give them? Let me know in the comments below, and until next our paths cross, may you not fall in battle.